Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Karis and we're continuing on with this beginner tutorial for Europa Universalis 4. We're playing as France. This is updated for 2021, big patch that just came out this spring with the Leviathan DLC and the Southeast Asia North America update. Lots of changes have happened in the last two major patches the last couple of years. To the game, and even the base game, right, as free things are added in and tweaked and enhanced and stuff like that. And we've noticed a lot of new changes as we've played. This is without DLCs. This is a no DLC playthrough. If you're just joining us or somehow YouTube recommended like a weird, episode 9 or something before episode 1, there's a playlist link down below, so make sure to check that out so that you can get started in the right order and not miss any of the episodes. But thanks everybody for being here. We are ending our war with England. We're finally ending our war with England. It was 5 years war. We've got a banner up here that says call for peace. The war has gone on long enough. It's been 5 years. We've had the war goal. It is time to end the war. And the truth is we could wait a little bit longer to get more war score, but I think we're ready to end the war. So you go to this tab here and you always hit this button up here to create a peace deal. Send a peace deal to your enemy, and we can send the demand. This check mark right here tells us that they will accept. This, in fact, if we look at positive reasons for accepting, negative reasons for accepting, it's 121 reasons to accept, 120 reasons not to accept. And we can see the reasons why they're willing to accept, and we can break all that down, and it all makes sense. They have a certain amount of occupied territory. There's a certain amount of war score that we've earned through winning battles and holding the war goal and sieging down their land. There is a certain amount of war exhaustion that they're experiencing on their end. They hold London though, so they don't want to, until, as you know, their capital, holding on to their capital does give them a certain amount of motivation to keep going. Technically, the demand that we're asking for exceeds the 81% war score, so they're like, wait a second, you can't demand more than the war score. So there's some modifiers there that are basically fighting against their willingness to accept, but this is something they'll accept, and this is what we've kind of talked about. But let's build this from the ground up just so people kind of understand what's going on here. The point of the war is a reconquest war, right? And we're reconquesting the lands, these striped lands that are rightfully French cores. So if we go back to here and we go to the diplomatic tab, and we click on these provinces, or hover over them, I should say, while our own country is selected, it says consider this to be a French core, one of her cores. This is our land. This is our land. So we're doing a reconquest war for our own land. So we could just click on all of this stuff here because this is all French. Now remember, Calais is not actually included in that. Calais is not considered to be part of the French land, but we'll get that later. We will definitely want to do a war for that later. However, we thought about getting this land up here in Ireland. Now keep in mind, if I wanted a foothold in Cornwall, they would not accept under any circumstance, because this is part of this England here, specifically, this mainland England, is protected by their own fortifications. They have fortifications here, here, and here. We can't see them all on the screen for whatever reason, but there is one here and there is one up here. And it will not let us take this because we have not sieged any of their forts in this connected area, in this contiguous area. However, this actually happens to be a non-contiguous province that they own in Ireland that is not protected by any of their forts. These are just capital forts, and these aren't even English, so these are owned by Irish nations, so it's whatever. Doesn't quite apply. So England will actually give us this land even though we don't own a fort in their own sort of homeland. Just owning these forts down here is enough to demand this province, and this will actually give us a foothold into this territory to beat up on these guys, to expand the French influence in Ireland and use that as a launching off point to attack England. In fact, there's actually a strait here, so we can actually send our army up through here and march them through Scotland into England. We can also more easily defend Scotland if England ever attacks Scotland. So having this as a foothold up here is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing for future wars. It's going to actually make the future wars against England very trivial, to be honest. So taking that province there is going to be very, very good, but we don't have to. It wouldn't be very historical too, but either way, we're going to do it just from a game perspective, a strategy perspective, and then we're going to click this button here just to get a bunch of money from them. And we're just going to crank it up until they say no, until they say nah. Okay, so it turns out they'll give us 660 and still accept the deal. If we try to give them a little bit more money, they're like, nope, too much, too much. Okay, so that's how much they're willing to give us. Now, there's other things we could do. We could humiliate them. That gives us power projection. We could have them transfer their trade power. We can just have them concede defeat. That just gives us prestige. We're not that interested in that. We can't make them a vassal because they're too big. They're too big just to vassalize them, so that's not even an option. So I think we're just going to take a bunch of money, take back our own land, and get this strategic foothold, strategic toehold in the Irish Isles. What this is going to cost us is going to give us 22 prestige, and England will lose a bunch of prestige for losing the war, which is weakens them and strengthens us. We're going to have to pay a little bit of diplomatic power to get this unjustified province up here. We are going to incur a certain amount of aggressive expansion, and 50 is the number here. If more than 3 nations have 50 aggressive expansion against us, they can join coalition. They can form coalitions against us, and bigger coalitions can absolutely, if you have tens of nations joining up against us and attacking into us to tear us apart and to give back all the land we've earned in war, can be very, very devastating. It can completely undo everything we've done. So we do not want coalitions to form against us. 29 aggressive expansion, totally fine. Relatively low amount for how much land we're taking. That's because this isn't that aggressive. We're just taking back our own land. That just because if we're taking London, this would be a much higher number. 8% overextension, just because we're taking a province that is not technically French. These French provinces don't incur any overextension, but we'll see exactly how we pay that down. It's warning us that it will cost us 42 administrative power. 42 administrative power to integrate this province into the Kingdom of France. And we'll do that after the war is over. And it's just warning us how much that'll cost us. To get rid of that 8% overextension will cost us 42 administrative power. Booyah, send the demand, and they will accept. Done. They will accept. It's saying that some of our provinces need to be cored. Now the war is over, so this call for peace will go away in a second. We have provincial unrest. This province, these people that live here are Irish. They're not French. The people that live here in Lombard are, actually they're Basque. But for the most part, there's no separatism here because these people are totally comfortable living Gascon, Norman. These are cultures that see themselves to be very closely related to the French culture and within the French culture group. So these are cultures that are totally appeased with living under the French flag. These people are not angry. There's not going to be any unrest in these areas. No unrest in these areas. In over here in Ireland, though, we do have our first going with unrest. There's 14% unrest. 14% unrest here. So now we can see. And we'll see how this progresses over time. But it says that there's 7,000 rebellion, like there's 7,000 troops that will rise up against us in this area because they want to be separate. They're actually interested in being their own country. They don't want to go back to England. They actually just want to become their own country. But right now they are French, and we're going to actually just have to stomp out that rebellion. But it'll be many years until that becomes a problem. In fact, we can look down here and see how long until this is a problem. In fact, it's actually saying it'll be about 7 years. So we have about 7 years to prepare for this, and that will change over time, but right now that's what it's telling us. So if we click on this, it just opens up our stability and expansion tab. Oh, another thing is, if we look at this, some of your provinces lack cores. Again, we need to core all of our land because we do not want this number to get over 100%. 100% is the bad, 8% is no big deal at all. But as we get more land that's uncored, we're going to have to continually core it, so it's good that we just start coring this right now and start working on that right now. Because we're going to want to keep this basically at 0. And there's some negative modifiers there for being overextended that affects trade is a big thing. Also yearly corruption and some other things as well. But if you get over 100%, negative events will start happening to your country very consistently that will destabilize and tear your country apart. So it's very, you don't want to be over 100% on this. So you got to keep kind of coring this land. You got to keep paying this stuff down in order for it to go away. Once this is done, which will take about 3 years, once this is done, that 8% goes away and it's never an issue ever again. It'll also help with unrest too. Part of the reason why the unrest here is so high is because this province isn't cored. It's not a core. So that will actually reduce the unrest in that region as well. We can build buildings. It's saying we have tons of money. So it's warning us, hey, if you'd like to build some buildings, you could do that. We can actually pay for Defender of the Faith, which is 500 gold, and we get some benefits from that. Extra morale of armies, extra missionaries, monthly war exhaustion reduction, yearly prestige. We also have the responsibilities of being the defender of the Catholic faith. If a Catholic nation is attacked we will be asked to defend their sanctity. So if the Ottomans attack into Bosnia is a Catholic nation. Serbia, however, is Orthodox. So, but if the Ottomans wanted to attack into, oh, Albania is Catholic. So if the Ottomans were to attack Albania and we were the defender of the faith, we'd be asked to defend Albania. I don't know if we want that much responsibility right now. I think instead we're going to spend this money to maybe enhance our navy, as we have a lot more port cities now. So we're going to want to advance our navy, and we're going to want to potentially see about advancing our army and building buildings and other things. You can make states. It's actually telling us, oh, we can actually make a state down here too. Making states is one of those things where, for the most part, the states, basically, when you make something into a state, it costs more governing capacity. We have a limit here of 400 governing capacity. This will go up with technologies and stuff over time. Just be mindful of the fact that there is kind of, if you go over this number, it's not the end of the world, but you do start to incur some penalties if you go over 400. States, so the difference between a state and a territory is, if you look at this, we haven't actually talked about this, have we? Because we haven't had to. It's barely come up. This is a territory right now. Gascony down here is not a state. Now, eventually, we're going to centralize all of this area because these are our subjects. We're going to centralize these guys. So we're totally going to want all of this to be nice stated land, because the difference between a territory and a state is a territory is stuck at 90% autonomy. Now, we haven't talked much about autonomy, but if we look at if we look at Paris, our capital, 0 autonomy. Autonomy basically means that at 90% autonomy, this province is only providing 10% of its benefit. 90% of it is removed because it has so much of its own personal autonomy. It has its own leadership. It collects its own local taxes, and those local taxes never come up to the federal level, to the nation kingdom level, right? So 90% of all the production and all the taxation and all the manpower and everything that we get from this province just goes poof. It's all just its own little territorial ecosystem, right? If we make it a state, it will go down to 0. It will slowly try to work its way down to 0. If it's a new province that we just, obviously there's always going to be some autonomy. There's going to be some autonomy in Pale because we just conquered it. But over time, it will trend down below to 0 if we core it and if it's stated. Right now, this is just a territory up here in Pale. But we can't state this until we core it, so it's not even a core yet. This is a core province, but it's one that we haven't stated. We're going to state this, though, because all of this is clearly part of the French region. That's going to be totally fine. Now that we state this, if we wait a month, this should update and this should go down to maybe 20% or 30% or something. We'll see what it looks like in a month. Oh, we've fulfilled a mission or two. In fact, we fulfilled a number of missions. We fulfilled a mission to reconquer Normandy. That's done. That'll give us free permanent claims on the Brittany area. So if we go to our diplomatic thing, boom, we got permanent claims over here. These will never expire, which is really nice. These ones expire. The ones that we get with diplomats expire. These ones never expire. There's actually a lot of stuff to manage right now, post-war. I'm just kind of thinking it through in my own head. And now it actually wants us to subjugate. It actually wants us to subjugate Brittany, which is interesting. I'm kind of wondering, is there a war? Could we actually do a war to subjugate them specifically? We might have to look into that, going to war and just making them a vassal or something. Or alternatively, we can just conquer all the provinces in the Brittany area owned by France or is a non-tributary subject. So either we force them to make them into a vassal, we make Brittany into a vassal, or we just take the land for ourselves. We have those options, and then we get more. We'll get permanent claims up here in this region, it looks like. Okay, we also reconquered Gascony. That'll give us the permanent claims in this region here, Provence, and we also got one up here in Anjou. We've also expanded France. This actually creates a cheaper building, a development cost, local construction cost, and local development cost reduced by 10%. So we haven't talked about developing, but we talked a little bit about it a few episodes ago, but we could expand the development to get more building slots by pushing them up. So we can hit these buttons to develop these areas up, and obviously more tax base here means we get more in taxes, more production means we get more in production. So more money, more manpower. So over time, so it's an investment in the future to develop your provinces and make them more lucrative individual areas, and also be able to house more buildings. There's some other benefits to developing as well. In fact, if we develop Paris, that'll actually improve our Renaissance. If we develop Paris, we'll actually get big chunks of the Renaissance. If you hold over this, you'll see we get 4% progress towards the Renaissance. So one way to get Renaissance within your country is actually developing provinces, is a way to spread Renaissance through the country. Now, the Renaissance is nearby, so I'm not worried about it, but it could be that printing press spawns in Bohemia. So to get printing press there, it could be that global trade spawns in Persia. You never know. Like manufacturers could spawn in Asia. So to get some of these institutions over into our neck of the woods, we might have to develop our land as well. And if you ever have too many points and you don't know what to do with them, that's where developing land comes in. But it's very hard to get to that point because these points are so incredibly important. We've learned that you need diplomatic power to integrate vassals. You need diplomatic power to take a land in war. You need administrative power to core land that you take in war. You need all of these to get technologies and ideas. And then military power is obviously technologies. You need it for war taxes. You need it for raising new generals, right? If these generals were to die, we would have to pay military power to get more. So these are so incredibly important. So usually when you're developing your own land, it's usually when you've somehow accumulated a surplus of these points, basically. And the truth is, what we could do is we could save this. This makes it cheaper to build buildings in this area. Unfortunately, I already built a bunch of temples here. However, we are going to want to build, marketplaces here. So if I go to if I find the marketplaces, or sorry, workshops, we need administrative tech 6. So it's going to be a while to get to tech 6 because we're only on tech 4. So we need to get to 5 and then we need to get to 6. But we might save this. The benefit of this is 25 years of reduced build cost and development cost. I'm going to save this. We're not going to hit this right now. We're just going to right click that to get it away. No, this is ready to get this benefit whenever we want. But we've completed it by expanding France. So we can do that whenever we want. We'll wait till we're about to build a bunch of buildings or do some developing. Although, to be fair, I don't know. Are we going to build some buildings? We are going to build some buildings, but they're not going to be in the right region. If you read the text on this, it's only in the Ile de France region. It's only in this specific region. I think we've already built temples. Oh, no, we haven't. Oh, no, we haven't. Well, we could just do it and just build temples here. If we wanted to. Could do that. Yeah, what the heck. So we don't forget about it. Let's hit this button. Booyah. And let's make sure to build a temple in these areas, since we're getting a cost reduction for those temples. And we said we wanted to expand our navy. Got a lot of money thanks to England. What's our total income looking like? Our monthly income. Well, it's 3 ducats at the moment. Fort maintenance is pretty high. We just took a fort from England here. We took a fort down here. We probably want to keep Lombard because, well, I don't know. I mean, we're allied to Castile, so having the fort there is really not that big of a deal. We definitely don't need to upkeep it. This is farmland. This is farmland. We could keep this one and get rid of this one. I'm going to get rid of this one. We have Paris already has its own fort. So we're going to get rid of that one. We're going to keep this one down here in Lombard. So we have kind of like a triangular effect with the fortifications. This one's sort of on the coast here facing England. That'll be fine, I think. I think having that fort there will be just dandy. The truth is we'll probably want a fort. We'll probably want to take some of these forts that are over here in Burgundy that would create a good barrier for anyone from the east there. So, and the truth is, now that we're at peace, we could probably mothball these forts, right? So we click on the provinces with the forts, come down here, mothball, click on this, mothball, and mothball. Alternatively, you can go to the military tab and hit this button to mothball all forts. But if we go back to our economy, we're making 5.5 ducats a month. That's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. So we could definitely afford to enhance the navy and build some heavy ships. I would like to have naval dominance against England in the next war. There's no way we will have naval dominance against England. We can only build 3 more ships. But I'm going to build 3 heavies. We're going for it. 3 heavies. Boom, boom, and boom. We're building 3 heavy ships. It'll take 2 years to build those suckers. Let's get our light ships back out and about. have them protecting trade in Bordeaux like we had before. So I just assigned a admiral to them, because an admiral helping with the trade fleet with maneuverability gives them a little bit of a boost when they're protecting trade. So having an admiral in charge over there is a good thing. Actually, there's so many different opportunities. Just taking this province over here in Ireland means that we could quite literally start attacking. I don't know. I think we have to wait a day for this to unfog of war, because obviously we own that province. And that'll, yeah, we just have to wait a day and that'll update. But we actually could start attacking a bunch of these really weak and puny little nations over here, like Leinster. These ones that are not allied to England, and we could just burn through and take a lot of that land up there for ourselves pretty easily, to be honest. We have 8 transports, so we can move 8,000 troops up there. Might be good to do that anyways, just on the basis that, yeah, you know what, let's send 6,000 infantry and 2,000 cavalry to go fight in Ireland. Let's send them up here to the Navy and get them on the ships and send them up to Pale up here. And they'll see if they can do some damage in Ireland in a future war. Alternatively, we could look to see, we actually have 100 spy network with England. We've taken back all of the land that we were justified in taking. So we need to create new reasons to attack England in the future. And now that we control this land, we're now directly bordering other English territory that we can actually create claims on. So we are connected to Calais via the Straits of Dover, the sea tile. So when you fabricate claim, you have to be bordering the province you want to claim. We didn't need to claim any of these because we already had claims on them. We already had cores on these provinces. But Calais was too far away because England controlled all this coastline, right? So we couldn't make a claim on Calais. Now we can. We can go here and say fabricate claim. That'll cost us 20 of our spy network out of 100. So let's just burn through our spy network here. We can make a claim on any of these provinces, really. We can make a claim on Cornwall. Or we could go for something a little juicier than that. These are higher development. These 3 right here are pretty high development. Kent, Sussex. Pretty high, pretty high development provinces. Alternatively, we could actually claim anything that's adjacent to the Irish Sea because we now own that. It doesn't really matter too much which ones we do. These are just the provinces we'd be likely to take in the next war. So there we go. So we've gotten some claims on England now for the next war against England. We're already like locked and loaded for the next war against England. However, there is a large truce. It is going to be 15 years before we can actually like go to war with them. 14 years to be exact. Also, sending up 8,000 troops up to Ireland won't be bad because we have that rebellion coming, right? Oh, Normandy. We need to make Normandy into a state. That's going to be good because we already have cores on all this, so that's going to be totally worth it. This land's going to immediately start benefiting us massively. In fact, that might actually expand. If we wait a month, our naval force limit might go up. We might just have to wait and see. Let's go. Guys, we've been mostly paused this whole time. Holy cow, I apologize, but we did do a lot of stuff. We introduced a lot of new concepts there. We have lots of money. We're building heavy ships. Those are expensive. We could look and see if our army needs to get larger. It could get a bit larger. We can build 4,000 more troops. In fact, actually 7,000. It just updated. The month just ticked over and it just updated. Yeah, I want to get more ships. So we're building 3. We have 2 heavies already. This makes 4 heavies. This gives us 6 heavy ships. If we compare that to England, England should have 6 heavy ships. England has 6. We're building up to 6. Heavies are very expensive, though. Very, very expensive. We could just keep building even more heavies and just have complete dominance on them. Although, to be fair, England might actually destroy some of their own heavies because they might not be able to afford them anymore. What does England's army look like? Did they end up building up a big army? They have 21,000 troops and no manpower. No manpower. So they're paying for a decent-sized army, even though their economy should be somewhat in tatters after losing that war. Prestige is tanked. Maybe their stability is tanked. Do they have a new leader? Nope, they still have a 000 here. He's a young 34, so hopefully he hangs around for a long, long time. So they still have that terrible leader in charge. Do we need to royal marry these guys? How can we get these guys to be a little bit... nope, we've already royal married all of these. Get these guys attached to transports. So they're adjacent to the docked ships. Grab the Navy, swing them up here, and drop them off over there. It's easy to do. So do we attack Provence first, or do we attack the Pope first? The Pope is only allied to Switzerland. I think it's now or never on the Pope. I think it's now or never on the Pope. Because the Pope, it could get very powerful allies very quickly and easily, just because distant war. But they don't think attacking Burgundy is a distant war. Or maybe they do. Yeah, they do. So actually, Castile's not even going to help us with Burgundy. What the heck? Thanks, Castile. They'll help us with Provence only has 3,000 troops. Oh no. Provence is completely shattered right now. And they're... Wait a sec. Oh. Okay, we have to attack Provence. Because Brittany is trying to take this province. We do not want Brittany to take this province. We do not want Brittany to take this province. But that's what they're going for. They'll never take this. It's too far away for them to manage. So we have to attack Provence first to swoop in and take this. And then I think, honestly, because Provence has so... I think we do a joint dual war here. Let's attack Provence. Anjou. In fact, the only troops that they have is Siena. Kind of sad. We don't need to call in Castile. We're going to let Castile ride. We're going to let them just hang out and chill. Let's get these troops over here, though, and get ready to attack the Pope. The Pope is allied to, we saw Switzerland. Switzerland could come in this way. Let's get these troops kind of like over here, kind of. Standing in this area, zoning in this area. Let's get these guys over here. Is there an entire army? Are we missing some guys? 6,000, 20,000, 32,000. Oh no, we put 8,000. Yeah, we moved 8,000 up to here, yeah. Well, you know, honestly, we could build more troops. We have the manpower to afford the initial regiments. I don't see any reason why not. Let's build up to our force. We got the money. Let's build 7,000 more men. It's warning us we can call in Castile. We don't need to. Castile's fine. Castile's not... Castile, just let Castile do Castile things. I don't want to overexert Castile. Although, to be fair, it wouldn't be a bad thing to butter up Castile a little bit. Make them happy. I don't think we need to be working on England's spy network. It's going to be 14 years before we actually deal with them. When do the cores expire that we just got? 20 years, right? 25 years? 25 years. 25 years. Yeah, so those cores will be around... We'll be attacking England in about 15 years. Probably as soon as the truce is up, we'll attack England. Interestingly enough... We have no casus belli on these guys. Okay, we need to build up a spy network on who's gonna win this. Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. Leinster's winning that. I think Leinster's more important for getting around the coast. Well, actually, this guy really blossoms out too. I'm trying to wonder, do we want, which province do we want first? I guess we want both of them. Let's just build the spy network on Leinster, and then we'll get the one on the other guy soon. We need to get Orleans to 200 so we can start integrating them diplomatically. Time to attack the Pope. Time to attack the Pope. Before they get some really amazing alliance, and that will happen. The problem is, admittedly, taking this land is going to be a huge amount of aggressive expansion. Like, taking all this land that was rightfully ours, not a big deal. Taking this land here is going to be a big deal. It is going to be a big deal. We're also paying for our forts. Oh, we're making tons of money even while paying for our forts. Man, we're doing fantastic over here. Although we're not paying for those heavies yet because they haven't come in. They haven't been built yet. They haven't been built yet. Oh, we were going to do a summon. We were going to summon a diet. And then we were going to do seize land. Oh... That was before we started the war. You can't do that while at war. We could do the summon diet, but we can't seize land. And it's good to do this as a combo because this increases the influence and this lowers, or sorry, loyalty, and this lowers loyalty. Okay, let's attack the Pope. Let's get into 2 wars here. In fact, we might be getting into a 3rd here soon enough. Is there any forts in this area? Any of these forts? Let's go to find our fort map mode. Oh, yikes. This is a fort? It's a grasslands fort, though. Is it even going to let us... Is it going to let us actually move to these different provinces here? I guess we should just do it for Avignon. We should just attack the Pope for Avignon and just go right for the fort. Just hope to get the fort. We have no diplomat to send. Rip. Okay, let's bring back the diplomat from Castile. So 9 days and we'll attack. Hope nothing's changed in 9 days. It will let us actually go to the side there. Okay, no big deal. I'm going to try to sneak in. You know what the heck? We have this fort here defending from the Swiss. I don't even know if the Swiss are going to be able to move through Burgundy or not. Blood is thicker than water. What is this? A current war with Provence has triggered a round of intrigues in the French court. It's asking us if we want to banish our advisor. So they want to banish this guy. This guy's quite good, to be fair. He's doing some good work for us taxation-wise. Alternatively, the nobility will be upset. Provence. He'll betray our trust. Lift the fog of war for 6 months. That's interesting. I've never seen this before. Lose 15 prestige. A 33% chance that happens. And we'll lose 15 prestige, maybe. Or there's a 67% chance that he doesn't. He stays loyal and lifts the fog of war from Provence. See, Provence is the fog of war things. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. This must be new stuff. Not a big deal. It's just whether or not we want the nobility to be a little bit upset. Well, here's the thing. Their equilibrium is at 71. We haven't talked about how they gain loyalty. Their equilibrium is 71. So if they go below 71, it goes up. Right now, it's going up. So, we're just going to do the option here. They're going to be a little bit upset, but within a couple months, it'll be right back up to where it was. No big deal at all. We'll just see if this guy betrays us or not. I'm sure it'll be fine. And we might lose some prestige if he does, but 66% chance that he doesn't. It'll be fine. It'll be totally fine, I think. Let's get these newly trained troops over here. It's a little bit of a mess right now with what? Betrayal! We did actually lose 15 prestige. That's kind of a bummer because we had 45, which was quite a bit. I mean, that helps. Military access over here. Someone wants military access. So there's some wars breaking out. Lots of people dogpiling on Munster. Whoops, sorry about that, guys. That sound. I guess I forgot to mute the OBS lights. Someone must be following us on Twitch. I'm not going to worry about giving anybody military access. It gives a little bit of a favorability. We could pay for a more expensive taxation guy. He kind of pays for himself a little bit. We have plenty of money. He's a level 2. We need a lot of these points. I'm fine with that. We'll just start paying for better advisors. We'll be fine. Holy cow, we're still 5 ducats a month. Those temples must have just been built. Uh-oh, I see a problem here. You guys need to get out of here. These guys are swooping in. Where are the Swiss? Okay, good. We escaped in time. Well, they're about to dogpile on us here. Oh, we scared them back. We did successfully scare them back. I think, honestly, I think we're just going to dogpile into them. Yeah, they're running away. They know what's up. They know what's up. Okay, these 7,000, you guys hang out there and head over to here. This is a mountain province? It is a mountain province. So that'll really kind of pinch them there. Yeah, they're gonna back off. They're just gonna come up to here though? Nope, they're totally backing off. Totally backing off. We're at 21% in here. This war is actually gonna take a while. We might actually have to declare war on Brittany if they siege this obnoxiously. Yeah, so we have that taken care of, which is nice. We don't need anyone to attach. I'm going to deselect that. Let our friendly units just do whatever the heck they want. Now, technically, this is a better siege general, so I'm going to pull off 1,000 units, attach the good siege general, and send him in to work on that siege. These 6,000, you know what the heck? Let's move them into here, and let's just loot this province. Get some money from that. Honestly, I mean, the Pope, I think we're going to be pretty close to just kind of like forcing the Pope out of this war. These are going to be relatively easy wars, I suspect. It is saying that we can get a new... You know, this will be really nice because this will get us new idea groups. I don't think we're any... Are we close to potentially getting like Renaissance anywhere? I totally did not realize that the Swiss are on Paris. Switzerland is trying to siege out Paris right now. Yeah. Let's head up there. Let's head up there. That's sneaky. So, I mean, this it just literally went up to 6%. And I'm realizing that we're running this episode a little bit long here, guys. Sorry about that. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Let's, man, do we get this technology? We'll think about that next time. We'll think about that next time, because that'll give us a new idea. That'll give us an idea group, and there's a whole sort of discussion about what those are all about and such. So, guys, thanks everybody for being here. We're in a couple different wars. Relatively easy wars compared to the English war, right? These are just us throwing our weight around a little bit. But we do have a goal to take over Provence, and that will get us into a justified war, a very strong justified war against Burgundy, which we are definitely looking to do, and that will be a hot war. So, but thanks everybody for being here. I really appreciate it. If you guys have questions, please ask down below, and I'll absolutely answer them. And I will see you guys in the next episode as we continue to learn EU4 base game with no DLC for complete beginners. Have a good one, everybody.